If you're expecting a bunch of guru fluff and get-rich-quick garbage, you've come to the wrong place. This show is the no bullshit real deal.
No bullshit real deal.
I'm Larry Harbolt, and they call me the real deal. Welcome to my show. This show is aimed at providing you with quality information so you can make more profit in the fastest way possible without making costly mistakes from the deals you do.
Let's get started.
Hello, everyone. You know, I still am getting a lot of questions about how to negotiate with sellers when you're sitting face to face with them at their kitchen table. So I want to go back to the basics of negotiating. You see, if you're not knowledgeable about the basics of how negotiating works, you're never going to be a good negotiator. You have to understand the mindset of the sellers and the mindset of a smart investor that's going to be able to put together a good deal. So I thought I'd go through this list of items that I think we all need and that you need to remember if you're going to be a good negotiator. Well, let's start out with it first. You know, almost all sellers, they don't know you, and they don't know if they can trust you to do whatever you say you're going to do. They don't know you. It's like when you meet somebody new that makes a promise to you, you have no idea if they're going to fulfill that promise or not. Well, sellers are the same. That house they're selling is a big deal to them. And because they don't know if they can trust you, they always say they will only accept all cash for their property. Very simple. They want their money. They don't want to have to deal with you. It's up to you to convince them that what you're offering them is better for them than if they get all cash. Now, if the sellers live in the property, they usually have an emotional tie to the property, especially if the house is where they raised their family. They will always have an emotional tie to that. Now, if the sellers don't live in the property, they usually won't have the same emotional tie because it was held for investment. The only caveat to that would be if they're selling a house where their mom or dad lived who have now passed away, they might have an emotional tie to that. But if it was an investment house, they usually don't. So if the sellers live in the property and it's their home where they're proud to live, it's going to be a property that's going to be harder to negotiate. So if they don't live in the property, in most cases, they own the property as an investment. That will be easier to negotiate in many cases. Now, regardless of whether they live in the property, they want to get as much price as they can get. That just makes sense. When you sell a property, you want to get as much as you can get. They're no different. They want to get as much price. Now, as an investor, when I want to buy a property, I'm not as much worried about the price if it will allow me to make a profit. You see, a smart investor will be less price sensitive, provided we can get terms that will allow us to make a profit from that property. See, the investor must accurately know all of the numbers of each property before ever making an offer to purchase. Now, the numbers that we need to realize, if you're going to buy a property, fix, and sell it retail, you got to know the true after-repaired value of the property after it's been fixed up. How much the repair costs are going to be. You got to know how long the property will be held from the day it's purchased until the day the property is sold. These are the holding costs we've talked about so many times. Now, this is true if your intentions are to fix a property, then sell it at a retail price. Now, if you plan to get the property under contract, then flip your signable contract to another investor. The numbers are a little bit different, but what you need to address is, again, the after-repaired value, the repair costs, your holding costs, the property tax cost, the property insurance cost, a fair profit of 10 to 20% minimum, and a fair contract assignment fee, what you want to receive for assigning the contract to somebody else. So if you get every property you plan to flip the contract, you got to first do the numbers as though you're buying the property yourself. Now, if you get property under contract in this manner, the investors you flip the contract to can give you your flip fee and cover all of the costs and still make a fair profit. That's going to be very important because if they're not going to make a profit, they're not going to take the property off your hands. Now, if you plan to buy a property and you plan to keep it as a rental property, the numbers are figured differently again. the afterward paired value isn't as important because your tenants will be paying for the property, not you. Now, what is more critical is knowing for sure how much each property will rent for and stay rented. Not the highest rent possible, but a rent that will keep the tenants staying there because it's a fair rent. So you've got to understand that if you are going to get a property and you're going to rent it, what I do is I contact property managers and I ask them how much a property will rent for. I don't give them the address. I say I've got a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. Now, this is a property I'm looking to buy, not that I already own. And I say I've got a property. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath in the vicinity of First Street and 2nd Avenue. And if I hire you, how much can you rent it for and keep it rented? And then I'll call another one with the same story. This gives me an idea. I don't use Renometer or any of the others. I talk to property managers in my market that know my area and they know what the rents can be. I think that's very important. See, the price you agree to pay isn't as important as how much monthly payment is going to be that you can negotiate. See, I've talked about this formula several times on previous podcasts. Let me explain what that formula is if you're going to buy it, keep it as a rental. First, you got to know what the property rents for each month. That's critical. You got to deduct 1/12 of the annual property taxes. You got to deduct 1/12 of the annual property insurance. You got to deduct 10 to 15% per month for a maintenance factor. Because, someday something's going to break down. The roof's going to go bad, the water heater, the air conditioner, something's going to go wrong. You've got to take this out of every check. You got to I deduct 5% for a vacancy factor. So when a tenant moves out, I've got money to make at least one mortgage payment, so I don't have to come out of pocket with that. Then I deduct for, let's say, if I'm going to hire a property manager, I deduct 10% for that. Then I deduct what I think is a fair monthly cash flow that I'm willing to accept. Not an exorbitant, not over the moon, just what you think that property can afford. This is going to leave you the most you have remaining to make the monthly mortgage payment. So if you deduct all of those from the monthly rent, that's going to tell you how much you got left to make a payment with. Okay, now that we've gone through that, one more thing I want to mention. On Thursday, on the first page of the money section of USA Today, you can find a chart, which is the national average CD rates banks are paying. Now, what I do is I cut these out and I take them with me to every negotiation. In the event the sellers request me to pay interest, I never mention interest. If it comes up, I have this chart. I can show them what the average nationally is. It's a great negotiating tool. Don't be afraid to use it. Now, today I've given you some thoughts about how you need to analyze every deal before negotiating with the sellers. But always know the numbers of every deal before making your offer to purchase. I can't overemphasize that. You can't just throw a number at how much you're going to pay for the property. Because whatever they're asking for the property, you're going to offer them less. But you've got to know the way I do it, I can show them how much I'm willing to pay based on fact. It's hard for them to argue with it. They'll either take my offer or they won't. But I can show them the numbers because I'll work them right out in front of them. So they know I'm not just making a lowball offer trying to steal their property. So, that's something that I think is very, very important. Always do your numbers, not from a damn spreadsheet. Find out what the actual numbers are. It may take you 2 or 3 times talking to the seller before you make an offer. That's okay. It's not just tell a realtor what you're willing to pay and let them try and push it off onto the seller. Or if the seller says no, you raise your price $1,000 and try it again. No. Get the information. Not all of this information is going to be found on a MLS listing. So there's some things you have to talk to the sellers. This is critical stuff. And as soon as you come to my 4-day Never Step Into a Bank Again training, I go over all of this information in great detail. So as long as you go into this in depth, and you've got everybody is going to do role playing. We're going to have a negotiating session where everybody is going to go off from scripts that I've prepared, where you're going to practice talking to someone else in the class. Some people will be the buyer, some will be the seller. But once you have a script that you can follow, you can go home and practice with, believe me, it makes all the difference. The students that take the class that do that negotiating always have an easier time sitting down and talking to people because they know how the sellers may respond. It's a much better system. So it's going to give you more confidence on how to talk to any seller. And, I'm going to say that if you stand on the shoulders of experts, it's going to give you a much better and faster path to making more money. See, the key to your success is experience. And the best teacher you can get when you lack that experience is learn from someone who's like myself, had over 40 years doing deals. Use my experience and eliminate years of struggle doing deals that aren't too good. See, think about joining me at one of my 4-day Never Step Into a Bank Again training. And when you sign up, I'll send you all of the manuals and extra bonuses, including the accompanying audios immediately so you can start learning. Then you are entitled to attend any of my upcoming 4-day trainings whenever you can, whenever you want to come. Now, I'm offering you a unique chance to learn what others don't teach. You can go to other trainings. That don't mean you're getting quality education that you can use to do any deal that's laid before you. I will show you how to do deals. No matter how they're laid out to you, you can come up with a solution to do that deal. You will no longer ever be a one-trick pony. That's critical. Now, if you want to come to one of my trainings, go to my website, LarryHarbolt.com, to sign up for any one of the upcoming trainings. Or if you need some financial help, you can email me at LarryHarbolt@gmail.com, and let's discuss what I'm willing to do with you. See, I'm currently helping others with a payment plan. So if you need my help, please contact me at LarryHarbolt@gmail.com. And don't forget, either way you sign up, you get my courses and the 4-day training that you can repeat 2 more times for free. Now, if you choose the payment plan, the entire amount has to be paid before you can attend the boot camp. But let's talk about how I can make it affordable for you. And if you're like me, you're going to want some help if you don't have the money. It's better for me to help you than it is for you to not get the education. Now, I'm going to offer another bonus. If you'll email me, I'll send you my 31-page lesson called Unwrapping the Mystery of Subject 2. And you can get it for free. All you got to do is just email me at LarryHarbolt@gmail.com and request a copy, and then I'll email it to you. And please continue to let me know that what I'm sharing with you every week has value. And also, please suggest other subjects you'd like to learn more about. Well, my friends, that's going to about wrap up this episode of my podcast for this week. I hope you found some value from today's topic, and I invite you to head over to LarryHarbolt.com and register to keep up to date with my tips and ideas to help you become a better real estate investor. Now, if you're not already registered, head over to LarryHarbolt.com/register to get access to my free phone script on how to negotiate with sellers over the phone. Be sure to tell a friend and leave me a review on the podcast player that you're using to listen to me right now. See, your reviews help me to know that the information that I'm providing is valuable for you. Be sure to check out my courses, articles, and available trainings on my website, and watch for my Facebook Live posts I do every few days. And be sure to check out my coaching program at MakingBiggerProfits.com. MakingBiggerProfits.com. It's a great coaching program. It's affordable. We've got many students that are benefiting from it who can't pay the long dollar. This is affordable. Check it out, MakingBiggerProfits.com. So I hope you all have a great week. Until next time, this is Larry Harbolt.
Thanks for listening to the Real Deal Podcast with Larry Harbolt. To learn more about investing in real estate, head on over to LarryHarbolt.com and register for his educational tips and articles delivered by email.